SVG-TV News headlines sponsored in part by Flow.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Get the best in TV entertainment with 139 channels, 26 in HD, and HBO included. Plus get 80 local Flow landline minutes to enjoy on evenings and weekends. All for $225 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
In headlines, Forestry Division continues with efforts to eradicate the invasive Cuban tree frog from SVG. Alleged hate crime highlights racial tensions in the Bahamas. EU open but unconvinced by UK Prime Minister's Brexit plan. And in sports, Tridents jumped to second after extended TKR's winless run to 5 in CPL 2019. These and other stories coming up in SVG TV's Evening News and Sports.
That was the news headline sponsored in part by Flow.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Get the best in TV entertainment with 139 channels, 26 in HD, and HBO included. Plus get 80 local Flow landline minutes to enjoy on evenings and weekends. All for $225 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV's News and Sports for Thursday, October the 3rd, 2019. I am Bhavanal there with the details. The Forestry Division is said to be doing its utmost to eradicate the invasive Cuban tree frog here from SVG. So far, the frog has been localized in the Camden Park area on mainland St. Vincent and on Mustique in the Grenadines. The Forestry Division has already alerted the public to be cautious about the coming in contact with the frog, which is said, they say, pose a threat to the country's ecosystem. With this in mind, forestry officers have been out in search of the frogs to have them destroyed by responding to reports from the public on possible sightings and examine areas where they can potentially settle. That's the sound of the Cuban tree frog, which the forestry officers in the field listen for as they continue their efforts to eradicate them from SVG. The frog poses a danger to smaller wildlife, including other frogs, lizards, and insects, and are known to multiply in the thousands. Last night, forestry officers were in the Buckment Bay area responding to possible sightings of the frog. After an extensive search of the area, only the Johnsonite, a frog from Barbados, was discovered. Forestry officer supervising the research unit, Samuel Harry, said the lack of the Cuban tree frog in the area is a good sign.
So far, we have not seen any. We have actually got 2 specimens of the Johnsonite. Those are frogs that we are sort of naturalized here. They are basically from Barbados, and they are now in St. Vincent, well, for a while now. So we have not seen the Cuban tree frog. Our efforts would not be exhausted, and we would be actually following up on other claims that there are other parts of the country. So from time to time, night after night, we would be going to different parts of the country to see if we could locate and verify if the frogs have actually spread from the Camden Park area, which they were initially sighted. So tonight was, well, I would say it's fortunate and it's successful because we have not seen any. We don't want to see any more of these frogs around the country.
Harry said the department will continue its efforts to search and destroy the Cuban tree frog. He said there are other species of frogs in the country which are important to the ecosystem, and as such, positive identification is crucial. He took the opportunity to highlight the difference between the Cuban tree frog and the local crapo.
Some of the features of the Cuban tree frogs are they are more streamlined frogs. All right, they have suction pads on their feet, so they can climb. They are very adept at climbing. And the heads are basically tapered heads, and there is a small, two little eyes. They're not eye, but they're eye-like features around their necks. All right. Our buffo, the crapo, is much larger, and they are more rounded. So don't get mixed up with the Cuban fish frog and our crapo.
While thanking the public for its cooperation, Harris said the department will also be engaged in a public education exercise to prevent the accidental destruction of the local frogs.
If you see anything, any frogs that are looking strange in your homes, around your property, anything like that, please report it to the forestry department. And from time to time you would hear broadcast and you would see pictures of them. We would try to broadcast pictures of them so that you can identify them. They are similar to some of the frogs that we have here, and we don't want you to get mixed up on killing frogs willy-nilly, because the frogs that we have here are important to our ecosystems. So we don't want you to eradicate our frogs. So we will try as much as possible to send out pictures of them so that you could easily identify and don't get mixed up with our frogs.
In the meantime, the Forestry Division is once again appealing to members of the public to report any sightings of the Cuban tree frog. For SVG-TV's Evening News, I am Bavin Oliver. The importance of the local frog known as the crapo was also highlighted last evening by forestry officer responsible for supervising the research unit, Samuel Harry. Harry said though many persons may not like this species of frog and some will kill them on sight, they are important to the ecosystem and should be protected.
Our crapo, they control certain insects and other organisms in our environment. So they would actually eat these or predate on them, and they would keep the population of lizards and other insects down, so you wouldn't have them overrunning the country. Another thing that they do, they are an indicator of the environment. So if the environment is somewhat unstable or imbalanced, especially our rivers, our streams, if there are any poison or whatever, they are some of the first indicators that would tell you that something is going wrong with that particular water source or soil or whatever. All right? So they are extremely important for that particular reason as well.
A fast return on investment, easy installation, and a stable network are some of the advantages put forward by teacher at the Richmond Vale Academy, Jesper Friis, as he spoke with our news team about the grid-tied solar system versus the off-grid system. The Richmond Vale Academy recently made history by using 100% renewable energy, using both the off-grid and on-grid system. Both solar systems can reliably produce clean energy, but there are some differences between the two, and Friis took the opportunity to highlight the advantages and disadvantages of both systems. Friis said some persons live close to an electric grid should use the on-grid system, which is connected to Vinlec. Speaking from the Academy's battery room, Friis explained that while the off-grid system provides a level of independence, the batteries are expensive.
If you live in a remote area, then it is advisable that you have a battery stored system, an off-grid system. But if you are living close to the lines, financially, it's better be connected directly to the grid, and then you supply electricity to the grid when you are using, if you're producing more than you are using. And opposite, if you are in need of electricity, you just buy it back from Vinlec. Because the batteries, they will not last for a very long time. They will maybe last between 5 and 10 years, and then you have to buy new batteries. While the solar panels themselves, they will last maybe 40 years, maybe 50 years. You know, so you just put them up and you don't need to worry about them. These ones here, you care about because they're very expensive. Maybe there's for about $20,000 worth of batteries here. The price is dropping, so maybe now it's only 15,000. But still, it's a big amount of money that you have to reinvest every 5 to 10 years, depending on how you treat your batteries.
Friis said while power outages do not affect the off-grid systems, those who utilize the on-grid system will be affected.
That is the good thing of having an off-grid system, is that you'll be independent from the national grid. Yeah? But it also means that you have to store a lot of electricity. So this is an expensive setup. according to, but you need this if you want to be completely disconnected from wind leg. But you will not be interested in that because generally speaking, our electricity network, our grid in St. Vincent is stable compared to, of course, not as stable as in Denmark or as United States. But according to our development in St. Vincent, the grid is a good stable grid. We are off very little time. So if you want to have this in your home, go with the grid connected installation. It's far the cheapest. Of course, you will also be off. So if power goes off with the inlet, you're also off because you will only work with the grid. Okay.
He added that there are also financial advantages homeowners can take advantage of by using the grid-tied system.
Amount that this one can make, if you convert it into easy dollar, is about 4,000 easy dollar they can create a month on the price that Windleg is providing right now. So they will pay you 45 cents per kilowatt hour. When we buy it from Windleg though, we pay around, now I think it's about $1 or something like that per kilowatt hour. But of course, Windleg, they have their costs, so they cannot sell and buy it to the same price. So when they're buying, they of course buy for a lower price than what they have to sell it for to cover their costs, you know, and also to make their surplus that they need. So so that's the best model. But if you have a normal household, you're a residential, then you're only selling the surplus energy. So you're using, so during the day, you know, you can use as much as you can, you know, and then prevent using a lot in the day, in the time where the sun is down, because there you buy it for more price than you sell it to. But we have to sell everything, while you, as a residential, you only sell the surplus. So you can use some of it yourself, but we can not do that.
Organizers of the Madongo Festival are anticipating a crowd of 25,000 persons this year as they make plans to host a successful festival. The Madongo Festival, which is in its second year, will be held on Monday, October the 28th at the Châteauguay National Park at Rabaca. Head of the organizing committee, Selman Walters, said even though last year's festival went quite well, they are hoping to improve on various aspects, especially minimize the long lines at the booths.
It was the first one. We did our post-mortem and we are making some adjustments. Last year we had 2 stalls where you can buy the Madongo. This year there will be 4. Last year there were 2 bars. This year there will be 3. So we are hoping to reduce the length of the lines. The lines were very long last year because there were just 2 stalls of serving and they were very long. This year there will be 4 serving stations. So the lines will not be as long.
Walters said patrons can also expect to see more of their food boxes this year.
Last year people complained that they did not get enough of the Madongo. I think they were given 3 bakes with some sides and they want more. So this year there will be a little bit more. But we can't give you too much because you want to keep the price at $10. If you give you more, the price will go up. So we want to keep the price at $10. So we'll give you a little more. It will be better this year, I promise you that.
Rive mother says the recent prison break of her daughter's alleged killer puts her in more fear. This and other stories coming up when we return with more local news. Stay with us.
The local news sponsored in part by Flow.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Get the best in TV entertainment with 139 channels, 26 in HD, and HBO included. Plus get 80 local Flow landline minutes to enjoy on evenings and weekends. All for $225 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Funeral service should be one that you can be proud of, one that leaves lasting memories of your loved ones, and that's where you need the New Haven Funeral Home. When you walk through our doors, our work begins, from corsages to flowers to guest books, whatever you need to make that funeral a memorable one. proud of the quality and class we have brought to the industry. We are proud for having trained the very first certified embalmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are proud of leading the way in terms of live streaming of funerals online so that your family members overseas could also be part of the celebration of life. We are constantly improving our services. We are driven by customer satisfaction, and we are proud of all that we do.
New Haven Funeral Home, helping families preserve memories. Star Limited is now located on the third floor of the first St. Vincent Bank building. They have extended their range of products to furniture, including patio sets, closets, shoe casing, beds and mattresses, TV cabinets, and kitchen cupboards, just to name a few of their luxurious pieces, all at unbelievable prices. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out upstairs the first St. Vincent Bank building. And don't forget, they still have the best in windows, doors, burglar bars, rails, and vanities. Star Limited, where quality and style is our motto.
This Hurricane Tip is brought to you by CIBC First Caribbean. Take photos of important documents and secure them in waterproof containers or bags. Make sure to include any insurance policies, property deeds, or mortgage papers.
Welcome back. November 15th will be 4 years since Charlene Graves, a real estate agent, was murdered at her office in the Arnorsville area, allegedly by Veron Primus, who escaped from Her Majesty's prison 2 days ago while awaiting trial for the 2015 fatal stabbing of Graves. Even though he is now back behind bars, Graves' mother, Inetha Holder, said her fears have intensified knowing that her daughter's alleged killer was out of the prison walls for several hours. According to Holder, the police called her several times on Tuesday and said they would send someone to wherever she was, but they did not say why.
This time, not going to stop him from coming out a second time. Then again, the officers, yes, they did call me, and they told me that they want to speak to me and they will send an officer to speak to me. Until this day, an officer has never come. I still waiting to see the officer come. I don't like how it happened. I didn't expect that he would walk out like that. He is just making this whole police force, the whole justice system, look like if we all are fools. And maybe where he is sitting down right now, he's just laughing.
Holder said she learned of Primus' prison break from a journalist and that she kept informed through various media outlets. Holder, who continues to grieve for her daughter, said she constantly lives in fear.
Another thing, I am not feeling safe anymore anyway, because you don't know who he spoke to, when he come out, who he meet with, what he got set up from what he ain't got set up. You always have to walk now with eyes in the back of your head. And from the two sides, you have to just keep looking, because then you don't know. You don't know who he talked to or what he do. And he didn't say why he come out, and he didn't say why he come out and what he come out for. And it's like everybody where you meet up on the road and you don't know the person, you have to watch them, because you don't know if they're going to take your life, if he send them or if them is in COVID here or whatever. You don't know.
In reference to the trial into her daughter's murder, Holder said she feels the case has weakened with one of the witnesses withdrawn from testifying against the alleged killer.
Wanted something from the crown or whatever so that she could give her testimony, and because she ain't get it, she just withdrew from it. But they should have made she testify if she's one of the key witnesses, because I was told that If she had testified the case against him towards Charlene, it would have been stronger. That's what I was told. But she withdrew, so I don't know what's going to happen. But what I would like the court to do is to call this case with Veron Primus against my daughter Charlene Graves and get it over and done with. If they cannot find him guilty to sentence him down here in prison for it for life or whatever, then send him to New York where they could deal with him up there.
2 days after the discovery of the body of George Samuel of Evesham in a shallow grave behind his dwelling house, the police were back on the scene today as they continued their investigation into George's death. A close friend of the deceased today spoke with our news team on the disturbing discovery, which has since left residents of Evesham in shock.
Of the quiet community of Evesham were thrown into a state of shock and disbelief following the discovery of a beloved farmer, George Samuel, also known as Cuba, in a shallow grave behind his dwelling house on Tuesday evening. Selwyn Delplesh, his close friend who made the gruesome discovery, said he last saw his friend Sunday evening.
Usually cook and exchange food to one another, including Cuban. Cuban will lie by me, my business place, every day. Not missing one day, especially Monday. He usually came by me to watch wrestling and from 8 o'clock on cable. And that Monday, I didn't see him come by me. When I didn't see him come by me, I take it for something. Now, maybe he tired or something like that. But when I didn't see him Tuesday, and it started darkening, myself started to get concerned, and the wife also asking question if anybody see him.
Delplesh said that after a 2-hour search, they found the body and immediately contacted the Mesopotamia police station. The body, he said, bore marks of violence.
We want them to come. We didn't touch nothing, so the Mesopotamia police came, and when they dig the first pull off, there was Cuban wrapped up in sheet and wrapped up in with a piece of carpet over him. And like he get a lash in his head and a piece of them cutting thing with a stretch tight around his neck. There was his lifeless body.
Delplesh said that he would like to see justice for his friend who did not deserve such death.
I want Cuban killers come to justice because he doesn't deserve to die that way. I am being honest with you, and the whole community can't come to grips with this thing with Cuban. He was such a nice man, I tell you.
The police have since taken into custody the deceased 2 sons who lived with him. However, we were reliably informed that the elderly son was released. The police were back on scene today where George's body was discovered. They brought along his youngest son, who appeared to be in a lot of pain and was assisted by officers out of the police vehicle. We were in the area before the police arrived, and we were asked to stop videotaping and to delete the footage, even though we were standing on the road, which is a public place. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
Alleged hate crime highlights racial tensions in the Bahamas. This from the region when we return. Stay with us.
Towards a local news segment.
The Ever-Ready Funeral Home at French's is your friend in times of grief. With over 40 years' experience, they are prepared to take care of all your funeral arrangements. Embalming, lowering device service, grave mattresses, carpeting, vaults, tombs, and wreaths. Arrangements for television obituaries. Cremation is available upon request. Ever-Ready Funeral Home offers the finest in caskets and coffins, local and imported. So, in your time of need, call Ever-Ready Funeral Home at any time. 456-1494. Ever-Ready Funeral Home, offering service above self.
Juicy, juicy, drink today. Juicy, juicy, same great taste. Juicy, juicy, the original drink. It's a Vinci thing. Get your red and banana, pineapple, juicy cola, orange or apple. Juicy for you and for your neighbor. It's a Vinci thing. Enjoy it juicy, the original Vinci thing. Juicy. Come
Conquer the streets anytime that we do it. Struggle what we face, we have to go fight through it. Real are the real, never counterfeit. Any challenge you face, we are gonna conquer it. Conquer we love in everywhere. Unstoppable, potent energy. Conquer the world each and every day. With the night or day, we say conquer. Conquer the energy. Conquer with the remedy. Roar like a lion. Conquer every day with conquer.
Conquer potent adult energy.
Tourism is for me. Tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business. Yeah, live it, love it, embrace it. Search for Life is back again. Your favorite game. Win house and land. SUV plus 50 grand. 50 and 25 grand. Second and third prize in your hand. Yeah. So play as much as you can. Monthly prices to be won. Set for life. A brand new house. Set for life. A brand new car. Set for life. $10 for a bet. Live your life with no regrets. Set for life. Did your day done set? Set for life. December 28th. Set for life. Check the lotto machine. Get set for 2019. Set for life. Live all of your dreams. Be a winner, turn your keys. Set for life.
We're celebrating 60 with the best, and bringing value home is priceless. Of course, you get the best of both the worlds. Save money and time. It's the vibes. We got prices on the low. We got it. Bring your fam to the store. We got brand name items for your whole comment. We got what you need and more. It's happening in the store. Shop at Courts.
The regional news segment sponsored by Massey Stores SVG Limited.
Massey Stores Pharmacy is the one for you. Is the one for you. We have competitive prices for your prescriptions too. We have 10% off for seniors, children under 3. We're here for your convenience. Prescription services. Leave your prescriptions while you shop. And our professional pharmacists will help you out. Massey Stores Pharmacy. Massey Stores Pharmacy. Where your health is your wealth.
Located at Massey Stores Kingstown. Contact us at 453-9112.
Welcome back. In our news from the region, we hear that it's been described as a hate crime. An incident at a popular inner-city business in the Bahamas yesterday has created a social media firestorm. It's the latest incident as popular outcry becomes louder for a crackdown on the country's immigration dilemma. We hear more in this Eyewitness News report.
The writing is on the wall. Tensions are rising as a national debate on the country's immigration crisis intensifies.
The real issue, Brother Watson, we're going to have real problem in this country with the Haitians and the Bahamians, especially the flag day that they have. Nowhere, no other country. People who love their country that much, dragging Bahamian flags around the place, parading as if they want to take over. These people has a plan.
The issue is penetrating the inner city communities like never before. It's no longer an isolated problem related to a certain demographic. Take, for instance, the Grove community. It looks like what we traditionally refer to as an inner city community of Bahamians. But that definition is subjective. When you consider the large infiltration of the Haitian community and the commingling of the two cultures through new births and relationships, it's hard to tell who is who.
They're here in abundance. They take over every abandoned house. Any areas that is unoccupied, they take over, move in there. And even in the schools, they dominate the streets all over. The government needs to wake up. Bahamian needs to band together and let's get these people out of our country.
So much we didn't expect this major disaster, but now we have a problem. We can only do so much, and which one is to do? Just let the immigrants take over? No. We got to first take care of our own face. First, America says, we first, the foreigner second.
But for those who have Haitian heritage, once placed in their unique and isolated spaces, the difference becomes clear. With the social media the basis of much of the debate and heated exchanges followed by public discussions, there is a growing concern that retaliation and physical confrontation could be the next move. Tuesday morning, police and fire officials responded to a call at a local business establishment in the Grove. It appears something that was thrown through the window of the establishment, smashing it. And the most obvious, a hate message sprayed across the wall of the business, sending a clear message. You hate Haitians? We hate you too. While the person shooting the video claimed they smelled smoke, they were over this issue.
I passed out by immigration yesterday, and oh my God, I can believe that I see so much people want to come into this little country. We are a gold mine.
The Haymans seem divided on their position as to what should happen. But by and large, this position seems to resonate with most.
Government should find a way and deal with that.
Member of Parliament for the area, Glennis Hannah Martin, today released a statement expressing concern about the incident and the growing tensions which appear to be gaining momentum. She says the commentary from government has not helped to calm the tensions or encourage rational dialogue. She called for the Christian and Haitian communities, as well as government, to step forward and take leadership in diffusing what has the potential of having dangerous consequences.
With Guyana President David Granger giving a date for the country's general elections and the opposition leader accepting the date, Foreign Minister Dr. Karen Cummins said there is clearly now the need for sanctions against Guyana over elections. We hear more in this news source report.
The US, UK, and EU missions in Guyana had accused the government of taking the country into an unconstitutional state by the president not calling elections by the 18th of September, following the CCJ's ruling which validated a no-confidence motion. But President David Granger has said that the country has not gone into any unconstitutional state, and he has not acted unconstitutionally. He has since named and proclaimed the date for the elections. Today, the foreign minister said the president has given the date and the elections will be held on that date. She said during her meetings with the Commonwealth Secretary General and the UN Secretary General in New York, she made it clear that the country is moving forward to elections.
I also spoke to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and he said, okay, I know you have ECOPs and so on, but we were happy to say that, okay, in Guyana, there is no war. I mean, we have a little hiccup here and there, but, you know, there's no this mid-side protests, lives being lost and all of that. So, I mean, I don't think we need sanctions at this point in time because we're very peaceful citizens. We're going along our busy way, who's going to the market, who's going to work. And so it's a peaceful, thank God we have maintained the peace.
Minister Cummings also said she was able to clear up a number of misconceptions with the Commonwealth Secretary General. The Commonwealth Secretary General had issued a statement calling on President David Granger to set a date for elections and expressing her worry about the political situation in the country. Minister Cummings said during a meeting with the Commonwealth Secretary General, she explained the government's position and updated her on the actions taken by the President to ensure elections are held. The government of Guyana found itself in an interim status following the July 2019 orders of the Caribbean Court of Justice, which validated a motion of no confidence that was passed against the government in December last year. The CCJ's ruling was the culmination of most of the court challenges on the issue by the government and the opposition. The Guyana Elections Commission has said it will be ready to host elections by the end of February next year, and President Granger has proclaimed the 2nd of March 2020 as the date for those elections.
Trinidad and Tobago's Attorney General Faris Alwari is endorsing the view of Prime Minister Keith Rowley that there is politics at play in the country's Law Association decision to pursue a judicial review against Rowley for not invoking Section 137 of the Constitution to allow an investigation into alleged misconduct by Chief Justice Ivo Archie. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Alwari also echoed Prime Minister Rowley's sentiments that the judicial proceedings were a waste of taxpayer money.
Money the Law Association has to burn because their members are paying that bill. You've got 5,000 lawyers on your roll, 3,000 members of the Law Association, and 165 people turned up. That demonstrates to me a very weak appetite. I'm sure you'd agree, just on a numerical analysis.
But opposition leader Kamal Prasad Bisasa said the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago is within its right to pursue legal proceedings against the Prime Minister. She said this is a democracy and the court is the final arbiter to get justice.
Bulwarks of democracy include freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, and another one of those very fundamental rights is the right of access to a court of law to have a matter adjudicated upon. So no amount of bad-mouthing and calling it a political charade and so on will get us anywhere further.
EU open but unconvinced by UK Prime Minister's Brexit plan. This from the international scene when we return. Stay with us.
The regional news segment sponsored by Massey Stores SVG Limited.
Massey Stores Pharmacy is the one for you. Is the one for you. We have competitive prices for your prescriptions too. We have 10% off for seniors, children under 3. We're here for your convenience. Prescription services. Leave your prescriptions while you shop. And our professional pharmacists will help you out. Massey Stores Pharmacy. Massey Stores Pharmacy. Where your health is your wealth.
Located at Massey Stores, Kingstown. Contact us at 453-9112.
Every girl loves curves. Curves is a girl's closest friend. When life throws you a fast curve, count on Curves for ultra confidence, ultra comfort for that time of the month. Curves ultra thin with wings, Curves regular maxi with wings, and Curves overnight maxi with wings. Super absorbent, best quality and value for money. Every girl loves Curves.
Quality products, quality care, low prices, great customer service, all at Q-Care Pharmacy. Q-Care leads the way, providing all your pharmaceutical needs, a variety of personal care products, and so much more. Located on Halifax Street. Telephone number 451-2690. Q-Care Pharmacy, where the Q stands for quality.
We're celebrating 60 with the best, and bringing value home is priceless. Of course, you get the best of both the worlds. Save money and time. It's the vibes. We got prices on the low. We got it. Bring your fam to the store. We got brand name items for your whole comment. We got what you need and more. It's happening in the store. Shop at Courts.
SVG-TV International News segment sponsored in part by Carez Distribution Limited.
You like doing laundry, right? Nah, I didn't think so. The stains? Oh, nightmare. Thanks to the new Tropic Fresh laundry detergent, doing laundry is now hassle-free. Tropic Fresh removes dirt, cuts through stains, leaves your whites whiter, and your colors brighter. Tropic Fresh has antibacterial agents that kills germs present in your clothing. It's gentle on hands, and the smell? Longer, fresh fragrance. Available in original and lemon scents and in various sizes. Tropic Fresh laundry detergent. Agents and distributors, Carez Distribution Limited.
Let's go further afield now. The President of the European Council says the European Union is open but not convinced by the UK PM's new proposal for a Brexit deal with the EU. Donald Tusk was among several leading EU voices to express doubt over Boris Johnson's withdrawal agreement plan. The plan would keep Northern Ireland in the EU single market for goods, but see it leave the customs union. But what happens to the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland remains a central sticking point. We hear more in this report.
Barclay, the Brexit Secretary in the UK, says the ball is in your court. Do you agree?
We would disagree. There are, as we have said, problematic points in the United Kingdom's proposal, and further work is needed, but that work needs to be done by the United Kingdom and not the other way round. We would remind you that it's the UK leaving the European Union and not the European Union leaving the UK, and we are doing everything in our power to ensure that that exit is on an orderly basis, and we are willing to engage constructively with our counterparts, but we are not going to be the ones left holding the bag, the ball, or any other kind of object. Is there anything else that we can help you with today, James?
Yeah, sorry, just a very quick question about the tunnel. Of the negotiating tunnel. Were there to be a negotiating tunnel as there was last year, I think it was, does that require the Commission to get the assent of the EU27 in advance before the tunnel can be entered?
As we said, we have a chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, who's been mandated by the EU27 to negotiate with his counterparts in the United Kingdom. And as we've said, we're going to listen and engage constructively with the United Kingdom, but that we have many questions. And from our side, what we commit to doing is to continuing to debrief both the European Parliament and the Council in line with our transparency policy. On this.
Would the Commission accept a request for an extension that does not come from Boris Johnson or not even from a Prime Minister? If it came from a minister or I don't know, someone sent by the Parliament. And also, is there any urgency for the EU, given that law in the UK, to reach a solution before the 31st if the worst that can happen is an extension?
Thank you. And as we've had the opportunity to clarify before, our interlocutor in these discussions is the Prime Minister and the United Kingdom government. When it comes to extensions, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We have to date received no request for an extension. And on timings, as we said, every day counts, and any European Council needs to be prepared well in advance.
Well, that's the news. Sports is just ahead, but before that, let's take a look at the local weather forecast.
SVG-TV International News segment was sponsored in part by Caress Distribution Limited.
You like doing laundry, right? Nah, I didn't think so. The stains? Oh, nightmare. Thanks to the new Tropic Fresh laundry detergent, doing laundry is now hassle-free. Tropic Fresh removes dirt, cuts through stains, leaves your whites whiter, and your colors brighter. Tropic Fresh has antibacterial agents that kills germs present in your clothing. It's gentle on hands, and the smell? Longer, fresh fragrance. Available in original and lemon scents, and in various sizes. Tropic Fresh laundry detergent. Agents and distributors, Caress Distribution Limited.
The weather report sponsored in part by General Hardware, Budgemart Limited.
Listen, the big hardware stores have been ripping off Vincentians for years with their high prices. They call General Hardware with the lowest prices ever in SVG. Now, the big guys are scrambling to drop their prices, but they still can't beat the General. So don't let them fool you. General Hardware still has the best prices on lumber, plywood, and steel. And even with a sale, the General beats that too. So go on, compare prices, then come to General Hardware and save dollars every day. Because nobody beats the General. Nobody. General Hardware Supplies, located next to Yvette's Pork City in Arnesville. Call 453-9000.
Bebin, the diaper made with the very best for the very best. Keeps up with them on the go. With a wetness indicator, Bebin keeps your child dry and happy. For quality and affordability, choose Bebin every time.
Bebin Premium.
Weather forecast, conditions cloudy. Winds east at 8 kilometers per hour, temperature 28.4 degrees Celsius, relative humidity 81%. Barometric pressure 1012.6 millibars, 24-hour rainfall trace. Today's maximum temperature 31.5 degrees Celsius, today's minimum temperature 27.2 degrees Celsius. Sunset today at 5:52 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 5:54 a.m. Forecast, partly cloudy to cloudy with some scattered light to moderate showers and isolated thunderstorms. Synopsis, a tropical wave is affecting the islands.
The weather report was sponsored in part by General Hardware, Budgemart Limited.
Bebin, the diaper made with the very best for the very best. Keeps up with them on the go. With a wetness indicator, Bebin keeps your child dry and happy. For quality and affordability, choose Bebin every time.
Bebin Premium.
A funeral is considered as the last goodbye. The memories are for you, the family and loved ones. Joseph the Silva Senior Memorial Funeral Home sympathizes and understands the grieving process. They go the extra mile, offering counseling, private funeral, chapel service, night viewing and church service, along with other services expected at a professional funeral home. Visit the office at Mesopotamia, A warm, modern, and customer-friendly environment awaits you. Joseph the Silva Senior Memorial Funeral Home, offering affordability in time of need. We are here. We care.
Welcome to the evening sports. After finding themselves in a do-or-die match against the St. Lucia Zouks on Sunday, Barbados Tridents kept their hopes of the top two finish alive after completing a rare sweep of the Trinidad Knight Riders. Back-to-back wins over the Zouks and Knight Riders by 7 wickets at Queen's Park Oval vaulted Tridents from 5th into 2nd place on 10 points, holding a net run rate edge over St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Another superb night from the tournament's lead wicket-taker Hayden Walsh Jr. and player of the match Harry Gurney, who bowled brilliantly at the death to pick 4 wickets together and another via run-out, restricting Knight Riders to 134 for 8 after they elected to bat. Then Johnson Charles piloted a cool chase with 55 of 47 balls. The defending CPL champions have gone ice cold after starting off with 4 straight wins. Knight Riders now must beat undefeated Guyana Amazon Warriors at Providence in the final match of the league phase, or else they'll be forced into an elimination playoff match against the Patriots. Bianca Andreescu will play Naomi Osaka for the first time after both players advanced to the quarterfinals of the China Open. Osaka lost only 4 games with a 6-4, 6-0 win over U.S. Alison Risk before Andreescu came past American qualifier Jennifer Bradley 6-1, 6-3. The 19-year-old Canadian is on a 16-match winning streak, saw her lift the U.S. Open trophy last month. World number 4 Osaka from Japan is currently Australia Open champion. Luis Suarez scored a fine double as Barcelona came from behind to beat Inter Milan in the Champions League. Luterano Martinez gave Antonio Conte's Inter deserved lead and went close to a second with Marc-Andre expertly keeping out of his header. The Lionel Messi on his return from injury found Suarez, whose first touch took him past defender Diego Condi, and he blasted in the winner. Those were Suarez's first 2 Champions League group goals in over 3 years. Barcelona, who are undefeated in 33 Champions League home games, are level on 4 points with Borussia Dortmund, who they drew 0-0 with the opener game at the top of the table. The evening sports will continue in a moment. Stay with us.
My sister's pharmacy is the one for you. Is the one for you. We have competitive prices for your prescriptions too. We have 10% off for seniors, children under 3. We're here for your convenience. Prescription services. Leave your prescriptions while you shop. And our professional pharmacists will help you out. Massey Stars Pharmacy, Massey Stars Pharmacy, where your health is your wealth.
Located at Massey Stores, Kingstown. Contact us at 453-9112.
Conquer the streets anytime that we do it. Struggle what we face, we have to go fight through it. Real are the real, never counterfeit. Any challenge you face, we are gonna conquer it. Conquer we love in everywhere. Unstoppable, potent energy. Conquer the world each and every day. With the night or day, we say conquer. Conquer the energy. Conquer with the remedy. Break a lion. Conquer every day with conquer.
Conquer potent adult energy.
26 retail shops and restaurants open now for your convenience. At the cruise ship terminal. At the cruise ship terminal. It's a great venue to run for functions. Secure parking rate and beyond. At the cruise ship terminal. At the cruise ship terminal.
Convenient parking at the Kingstown Cruise Ship Terminal and the Geese Compound. The Kingstown Cruise Ship Terminal has 26 retail shops and restaurants with a variety of food offerings. A great secure venue for your functions with a great ambience. Also, we offer lock storage service. The Cruise Ship Terminal. Convenience for you.
at the cruise ship terminal. The cruise ship terminal.
This hurricane tip is brought to you by CIBC First Caribbean. Make sure you have food, water, medicine, important documents, and cash in your survival kit.
Welcome back. The Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force and the Bookament played to a 1-1 draw yesterday afternoon in the Bank of St. Vincent and Grenadines Haroon Barley Football League at the Curtains playing field. 2 goals by Hosni Chandler and 1 from Nelson Lewis gave Volcanoes a 3-1 victory over Teflon Strikers yesterday afternoon in the Sajiko Haroon Southeast Football Championship at the Stubbs playing field. In more local football, yesterday afternoon, Quebec's Pride and Joy beat hand-in-hand 3-0 in Zone A of the Haroon KCCU Digital Richland Park 9-a-side Football Championship at the Richland Park playing field. The goals were scored by Malik Costello, DeAndre Smith, and Nalroy Peters. Year 2 Engineering outplayed Year 1 ICT CET 5-2 in the French Orlando St. Vincent and Grenadines Community College Football Championship at the Sandhill playing field yesterday afternoon. Year 1 Arts, Science and General Studies and Year 2 Sciences and Business Studies qualified for the finals of the French Orlando SVG Community College Inter-Faculty Football Competition for the Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies, with wins on Wednesday at the Sandhill playing field. Year 2 Sciences and Business Studies humbled Year 1 Science and Business Studies 6-1 in the first game on Wednesday. 2 goals each from Joel Cruikshank and Shane Lynch, and 1 each from Kyle Alexander and Mikey Douglas accounted for Year 2 Sciences and Business Studies tally. The lone goal for Year 1 Science and Business Studies came from a penalty converted by Tane Alexander. Wednesday's second game ended in a hard-fought 1-0 victory for Year 1 Arts, Sciences and General Studies over Year 2 Arts, Science and General Studies. A Givaldo Henson goal separated the teams. And that's how we end sports this evening. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
Every girl loves curves. Curves is a girl's closest friend. When life throws you a fast curve, count on Curves for ultra confidence, ultra comfort for that time of the month. Curves ultra thin with wings, Curves regular maxi with wings, and Curves overnight maxi with wings. Super absorbent, best quality and value for money. Every girl loves Curves.
We're celebrating 60 with the best, and bringing value home is priceless. Of course, you get the best of both the worlds. Save money and time. It's the vibes. We got prices on the low. We got it. Bring your fam to the store. We got brand name items for your whole comment. We got what you need and more. It's happening in the store. Shop at Courts.
And now for a second look at the headlines. Forestry Division continues efforts to eradicate the invasive Cuban tree frog from SVG. Alleged hate crime highlights racial tension in the Bahamas. EU open but unconvinced by UK Prime Minister's Brexit plan. And in sports, Tridents jumped to second after extending TKR's winless fight run to 5 in CPL 2019. On behalf of all of us here at SVG-TV, thanks for viewing. I am Bavin Olver. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page for a recap of the news and daily headlines. Also, tune in for SVG-TV's News in 15 at 12:45 p.m. weekdays. Have a good evening.
Listen, the big hardware store stores have been ripping off Incentions for years with their high prices. Very cool general hardware with the lowest prices ever in SVG. Now, the big guys are scrambling to drop their prices, but they still can't beat the General. So don't let them fool you. General Hardware still has the best prices on lumber, plywood, and steel. And even with a sale, the General beats that too. So go on, compare prices, then come to General Hardware and save dollars every day. Because nobody beats the General. Nobody. General Hardware Supplies, located next to Yvette's Pork City in Arnesville. Call 453-9000.
Set for Life is back again. Your favorite game. Win house and land. SUV plus 50 grand. 50 and 25 grand. Second and third prize in your hand. Yeah. So play as much as you can. Monthly prices to be won. Set for life. A brand new house. Set for life. A brand new car. Set for life. $10 for a bet. Live your life with no regrets. Set for life. Did your day done stop? Set for life. December 28th. Set for life. Check the lotto machine. Get set for 2019. Set for life. Live all of your dreams. Be a winner. Turn your keys. Set for life.
We're celebrating 60 with the best, and bringing value home is priceless. Of course, you get the best of both the worlds. Save money and time. It's the vibes. We got prices on the low. We got it. Bring your fam to the store. We got brand name items for your whole comment. We got what you need and more. It's happening in the store. Shop at Courts.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Get the best in TV entertainment with 139 channels, 26 in HD, and HBO included. Plus get 80 local Flow landline minutes to enjoy on evenings and weekends. All for $225 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
You can feel totally normal and still have high blood pressure.